is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It's Friday, August 7th, and right now on Good Morning Indiana. Indiana has set a new record for the number of coronavirus cases reported in one day. Working for you, we're breaking down the very latest data from the state health leaders.
I don't see any sense in stripping away any protections, either on a moral basis or an economic basis.
The state's moratorium on evictions is set to expire 1 week from today. This morning, we're hearing from renters and small business owners who say they're still struggling to make ends meet.
There's always a need. We serve the Indianapolis community. There's always a need. In fact, we have wait lists for people needing our service.
The eviction moratorium expiring, combined with the ongoing job losses and pay cuts, has one local organization seeing an increase in the need for help. Working for you, how the Indianapolis Housing Agency is stepping up their efforts to help people during this pandemic. And here at 6:01, we want to thank you for joining our team on your Friday here on Good Morning Indiana. Raphael, we made it. Can you believe it? It's finally Friday.
We made it. It's been such a great week. And you know, Lauren, today would have been the start of the Indiana State Fair, of course, canceled because of COVID-19. We're disappointed about that, right? But we are very happy to have our Alyssa Donovan with us this week to cover in for Todd Clausen. And Alyssa, you've had a great weather week, so come on.
Yeah, I do.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
Thanks for getting out of town this week, Todd, so I can have a really nice forecast to talk about. And I have to say, if the fair was starting today, it would be perfect fair weather. So temperatures starting in the 50s this morning across the area. We're at 61 here in Indianapolis, a little cooler to the north where that cool Canadian air is still in control. High pressure is across the area right now. That's going to control our forecast for your Friday. Starting with mostly clear skies this morning. Could see a few clouds filter through this morning, but most of us are going to see plenty of sunshine, and that's due to that high pressure in place. It's going to stay that way throughout the day. That's going to help us warm very quickly with those daytime highs into the mid and low 80s. Next, as we head into the weekend, we have some southerly flow, so we're going to switch those winds and we're going to see them come out of the south, which is going to help push in this more humid air mass and also bring us the potential of showers and thunderstorms. Best chance of those will be late Saturday and into Sunday. Better chance of seeing them to start next week, and that's going to be an unsettled weather pattern to start our next work week. But today, it's going to be a really nice one. 82 for the high. Tomorrow, a little bit more humid, highs in the mid 80s.
All right, Alyssa, thank you so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out there on the roads this morning. This is I-65, a view here near 30th Street where traffic is moving along up to speed, both northbound and southbound. Right now, no crashes to report around the metro area. So we are following breaking news into the RTV6 newsroom. Right now, Metro Police are investigating a deadly shooting. This happened early this morning on the city's east side. Officers were called to the 300 block of North Bradley Avenue on reports of a person shot. When they arrived, they found a man suffering from a gunshot wound. He was taken to Eskenazi Hospital where he died from his injuries. So far, there's no word on what may have led up to that shooting. If you have any information, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. That number is 317-262-TIPS. And we begin this morning with financial fears that thousands are facing just 7 days from now. Raphael.
Lauren, we're talking about next Friday, August the 14th. The moratorium on rent and utility bills will be lifted, exposing hundreds, thousands of Hoosiers to evictions, foreclosures, and even disconnections. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with the details. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Raphael and Lauren. So what happened with this moratorium was protecting tenants from being evicted from their homes or workplace if they rented those things. And now on August 14th, they'll no longer be protected and landlords can start those paperwork for the eviction process. We spoke to Morgan Roddy, a business owner in Muncie, and she fears things are going to get worse for a lot of business owners. Her shop, Queer Chocolatier, hasn't been open since the pandemic in fear that someone will get sick. Now that the moratorium is ending, the state is currently creating a program to help those facing evictions of foreclosures, anticipating it'll be ready within the next few weeks. It'll be free for landlords and tenants to settle disagreements over rent.
I don't see any sense in stripping away any protections, either on a moral basis or an economic basis. I don't know what the intention is in letting any sort of protections strip away from the vulnerable Hoosiers.
Governor Holcomb announced Wednesday a $15 million increase to the state's rental assistance program, a program that at last check had more than 24,000 people apply. Roddy believes some people will benefit, but is worried the vast majority of folks will have a hard time navigating that system. Again, the expiration of the moratorium is next Friday, August 14th. And for everything you need to know about the rental assistant program here in Indiana, head over to theindychannel.com. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV 6.
Kelsey, thank you so much. With ongoing job losses and pay cuts, the Indianapolis Housing Agency is preparing to serve more people in need in the city. IHA helps low-income residents with public housing or Section 8 vouchers. The agency has 15 public housing communities with around 2,000 units. Officials say they are working to clean up and turn over those vacant units quicker than ever before so that they are ready for the new tenants.
What we are doing in light of COVID and in light of us identifying that there is a growing need is that we are processing our applications, particularly with public housing. We are processing them much quicker.
IHA is also taking steps to help protect current residents from COVID-19, like distributing gloves, masks, and hand sanitizers. The amount of people the agency is able to help will depend on the number of available units and how much federal funding it gets from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
The time right now is 6:06. Some alarming numbers from the Indiana State Department of Health on Thursday. Indiana set a new record in the number of COVID cases reported in one day. State health officials report 1,051 new coronavirus cases. Since the pandemic began, more than 71,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for COVID-19. Also on Thursday, health officials reported 6 new COVID-19 deaths. This means that 2,800 people, more than that, have died from COVID-19 in our state since this pandemic began. Taking a look now at the impact the virus is having on our state's hospitals. This morning, nearly 54% of the state's ICU beds are being used by non-COVID patients. COVID patients are using 14% of the beds. At this hour, nearly 33% of ICU beds are available. This morning, nearly 82% of ventilators in our state are still available.
Lauren, the state's top school leader says that schools can reopen safely as several school districts, as you know, begin the school year with a number of COVID-19 cases. Dr. Jennifer McCormick, she's the state superintendent of public instruction, and she says it's best for medical experts to determine if, when, and how schools should reopen. She says her office is continuously working with local districts on back-to-school plans.
There are plans. Schools have plans that if they have to shut it down, they have a plan. It's their continuous learning plan. That's why many of them are running hybrid. If they have to morph, maybe it's just a certain classroom.
Right now, those safety plans do not have to be approved by the Indiana Department of Education. But Dr. McCormick says superintendents are asking the state for some more direction on what the threshold might be on the number of cases requiring them to shut down.
This morning, Call 6 Investigates has uncovered some of the largest police departments in central Indiana are not participating in a national use of force database. The database is important because it helps create statistics and dialogue surrounding when police use force on people, as well as the demographics like the race of those involved. Call 6 Investigates surveyed the largest police departments and found that Muncie Police and Indiana State Police are not sending their use of force data to the FBI's national database. The representative, Robin Shackelford, is the Indiana Black Legislative Caucus chair, and she's been vocal about the need for police reform.
We've seen it cause deaths when you're talking about minorities. I'm sure there's a high proportion of law enforcement officers who use a high use of force or excessive force when it comes to dealing with the black population. So we in particular would like to see that data, would like to see the information. I think a national database makes sense.
It's not clear why Muncie and Indiana State Police are not participating, but we did find Indianapolis Metro Police sends their data to the national database on the monthly basis. Many other departments like Greenwood are also participating. Now, at this time, there's no penalty for police agencies who fail to send their use of force data to the national collection.
A Lawrence man accused of threatening a black neighbor is now charged with a federal hate crime. Investigators say that 50-year-old Shepard Hone displayed a swastika on a fence, repeatedly played the song Dixie, and burned a cross facing his neighbors. Hone reportedly said he was angry over a dispute that he had with the neighbors, and he wanted to intimidate and scare them. Now he's charged with violating the Fair Housing Act and unlawfully possessing firearms. The U.S. Attorney in Indianapolis released a statement to RTV6 saying in part, although the First Amendment protects hateful, ignorant, and morally repugnant beliefs and speech, it does not protect those who choose to take criminal actions based on those beliefs. The office, he goes on to say, will continue to prosecute federal hate crimes to the fullest extent of the law. We know that discussions on hate and race can be difficult for all, and that's why every Tuesday this month, RTV6 and our radio partner, Radio 1, we're going to host a conversation exploring racial issues right here in central Indiana. The next topic is called The Now, the current racial climate in our community. Watch Tuesday at 5 p.m. on the RTV6 Facebook page. Lauren?
Raphael, a big day for the economy as the July jobs report comes out this morning. Up next, what we can expect to learn as the pandemic continues.
And with the pandemic, protests, and the upcoming presidential election, this is shaping out to be very stressful for so many people, and social media can make things even much worse. After the break, advice from some experts on how changing your social media habits can help lower your anxiety. Now, time to check your forecast. And Alyssa Donovan, the first week of August has not disappointed any of us.
Right? It's been a really nice weekend. We are going to continue to see those nice conditions today. Some changes this weekend. We have a split weekend. Saturday, mostly sunny. Chances of storms on Sunday. I'll have the details coming up next.
Welcome back. It's another big day for the economy. The July monthly unemployment report comes out this morning. Experts predict the economy added about 1.6 million jobs last month. Compare that to the 4.8 million in June. If predictions come true, July's unemployment rate would be 10.5%. That's down about 0.5% from June. And Congress's self-imposed deadline for a stimulus bill is today, but it appears there's little chance of a bipartisan agreement before the weekend begins. Raphael?
And Lauren, that's why administration officials say that the president may take executive action if nothing is done by today. John Lawrence has the latest from Washington.
Talks about the stimulus are in a stalemate. Top White House negotiators say big roadblocks remain after Thursday's 3-hour meeting with Democratic leaders.
We're willing to stay engaged, but I can tell you that the differences are still significant.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi also disappointed with the discussions.
We have always said that the Republicans and the president do not understand the gravity of the situation, and every time we meet with them, it is reinforced.
The points of disagreement haven't changed much since the sit-downs began.
My frustration is that we could have passed a very skinny deal that dealt with some of the most pressing issues.
We should do something, and we should do something big, and we should do it in a way that is bipartisan, as we have done every other bill.
One big sticking point is aid to state and local governments as they struggle to stay afloat financially after the coronavirus pandemic crushed the U.S. economy and left millions jobless.
The best and really only good way to help the American people is a broad, strong, bipartisan agreement.
If the Democrats are willing to compromise and do something, I think we'll get something done.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
So as Hoosiers, as Americans wait for Congress to do something, the concept of the universal basic income is now getting a lot of attention really across the country. Now, this idea is to give out recurring payments to everyone without any strings attached. In Stockton, California, it's been tested now with 150 people receiving about $500 a month. And now 15 more mayors have joined a group working to launch more pilot programs in their cities. An economics professor says the pandemic stimulus payments can be seen as a form of universal basic income.
Seeing that, I think it just makes the idea more real. And at the same time, it's pretty clear at this very moment why you might find this idea appealing. That's because, again, a lot of people have lost income. There's a clear need for income security.
How universal basic income gets funded is really the big question. Stockton's mayor says money from the Pentagon budget or tax money from the legalization of marijuana could work. He's paying for his pilot through a pilot program with a grant and a private donation. Other cities looking to start pilots they're considering forming public-private partnerships or working to find room in their own city budgets.
2020 is turning out to be a stressful time for everyone. You have the pandemic, you have the protests, the upcoming presidential election. All of this tends to make up most of what we see on social media, right? And more time at home means more time online, which can create feelings of anxiety and stress. A new study by Ohio State shows that more than half of people are changing how they use social media. About a fifth of people are taking a break. Mental health experts say that this time and setting limits can help reduce your stress and anxiety levels. If you set it to 30 minutes a day and you feel anxious before that time is over, log off. They also recommend getting active by going for a walk or working on a project to clear your mind. Lastly, look for the positive, whether it's on social media or just in everyday life. So I'm going to look at the positive. And Alyssa, we've had a beautiful week of weather here for August. It's been great to get out and go for a walk.
Yeah.
What can we expect for our Friday?
It's really been so nice and really not August-like at all. It's felt like we're in a completely different season, but we are going to start feeling a lot more like summer in the next couple days here. Starting today, a little bit cool in some areas this morning, but by the afternoon, you're definitely going to feel like it's summer outside. Clear skies across much of the area. 61 degrees in Indianapolis, Kokomo at 54, Bloomington at 55. So probably not going to need that light jacket here in Indy, but you might need it to the north where we still have some of that cooler air mass in place, bringing us that chillier air this morning. So we've seen a little bit of patchy fog developing across the area as well, and that moisture is just moving up from the Gulf as we start to see a shift in our winds today. Seeing that visibility down right around Terre Haute and Bloomington, just 3 miles of visibility there where that fog is developing. We'll keep an eye on that for you, but if you're heading those directions, you might want to give yourself a little bit of extra time on the roads today. High pressure is in control right now, so that's why we are seeing those clear skies this morning and calm conditions. Really, it's right over Indiana today, and that's going to continue to impact us throughout our forecast today and into the start of tomorrow. Continuing to see very sunny skies, not a lot of cloud coverage, and looking at our TrueCast, you can see what I'm talking about. Not a lot of changes throughout our day and into the afternoon and evening hours. Maybe just a few high clouds developing for areas to the north this afternoon. But what that's going to do is help us warm up very quickly. By the noon hour, we'll be into the mid 70s and the low 80s this afternoon, so much closer to where we typically should be this time of year with those daytime highs. Plenty of sunshine. That humidity is still going to be low today, so it's still going to be fairly comfortable outside. However, it is going to feel a lot hotter. Those winds staying out of the northeast about 5 to 10 miles per hour, but they're going to shift overnight, which is why we are going to see that change in the forecast tomorrow and that more humid air filtering in. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Looking at Saturday, we have this system just to the southwest of us, and that's going to start tracking into the area. But first, we're going to see that humid, moist air coming up ahead of it before we start to see the potential of showers and storms. Earliest we could see those is late Saturday night. Better chance we'll see them on Sunday. So just be aware of that. We're kind of looking at one of those split weekends where we have nice conditions on Saturday, highs in the mid 80s with a little bit of humidity in the forecast, and then a lot more humid on Sunday. Just a small chance of storms in there, about 20% chance, but that means we'll see that potential, especially in the afternoon hours. That's where we're going to see that develop for Sunday. Highs, look at those. We're back into the 90s Sunday and Monday. Then those scattered storms really kick off our work week. We're going to continue to see that unsettled weather through much of next week.
Alyssa, thank you. Let's take a look at traffic right now. This is I-70, just a little east of County Road 400 West. Looks like traffic on I-70 right now is traveling up to speed, both eastbound and westbound. No major delays to slow you down. Taking a look around the metro area, I'm not monitoring any crashes to slow down your commutes. That is great news this morning, but of course we'll keep you updated. Well, a special photo shoot for a shelter dog in Michigan is in today's Trending 6. We'll show you how volunteers hope that these pictures will help her to find her forever home. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The time right now is 6:24, and here is a live look overlooking our beautiful city. You can see it's starting to get a little bit lighter out there. And we've had great weather this week across central Indiana. So we're going to have more on that with Alyssa coming up. But here's a beautiful shot in downtown. Maybe you're waking up early with us this morning. But first, Raphael, let's talk about what is trending at 6.
First, that looked like a painting. That someone just kind of painted that and put it on TV. Hey, so listen, so we know pets are like family. You have Molly, right?
Yes.
Kevin Gregory has Rory, Amanda has Leo, Mark Mullins has Bishop. Let me take you to Michigan. An animal shelter in Michigan is posting these images of a dog's maternity photo shoot. Who knew that there was such a thing as a dog's maternity photo shoot? Her name is Jazz, and she's currently a resident of the Saginaw County Animal Care and Control. The shelter says her pups won't be up for adoption until they're born, but then the family will need forever homes. That's very cute.
She is very cute. Looks like a sweet girl. So what a great idea. So Thursday, officers escorted the son of fallen Southport Police Department Lieutenant Aaron Allen on his first day of the 2nd grade. Lieutenant Allen, you probably remember, was shot and killed hours after walking Aaron Jr. to his bus on his first day of kindergarten back in 2017. So since then, the officers and family members, they've been escorting Aaron Jr. on his first day of school each year. There he is. In 2018, Stacy Allen, Aaron's wife, started the First Day Hero to honor her husband. And we wish him the best of luck this school year.
Yeah, 2nd grade can be really difficult. So we wish him all the best and a lot of love in that community. From one hero, Lauren, to another. Good morning to Gary Coffey. He's our hometown hero on this Friday. He's a first sergeant with Indiana State Police. And this year, this young man is celebrating his 40th year in law enforcement. He joined state police on July the 6th, 1980. We thank him and all those first responders throughout our state and country. Now time to check your forecast with our Alyssa Donovan, who has a great Friday forecast.
I do. It's going to be a gorgeous day. Temperatures starting in the 60s across the area. This morning we're warming up quickly by the noon hour. 76 degrees, plenty of sunshine for your Friday. Highs will reach the low 80s this afternoon, so feels a lot more like summer than it has the past couple days. Then we do have some changes this weekend. By Saturday, more humid air is going to filter in to central Indiana. 85 for the high. Sunday, even warmer, 90 degrees. It's going to be straight muggy outside. Chances of storms come in Sunday. We'll continue to see unsettled weather to start next week.
Alyssa, thank you. If you have relatives who are getting older, they may be considering prepaying for their own funeral to make things easier when they pass on. But as consumer reporter John Matarese explains, one family wonders if it was worth it, so you don't waste your money.
Prepaying your funeral sounds like a great way to save your loved ones stress and hassle. But one family wants to know why they still owe more money. Tonkia Bridges thought everything was taken care of when the woman she cared for and loved dearly passed away.
He paid for a pre-need service in full.
Willa Goodwin died at the age of 98. She had bought a pre-need funeral policy. But when Tonkia and a surviving cousin went to the funeral home,
she paid for everything except for the opening and closing of her grave.
That was going to be another $500. Why? The original funeral home had shut down and not all the money could be found. It's a complaint I've heard a number of times in recent years. A family prepays for funeral services thinking everything is covered, when in fact, it's not.
But we were advised by hospice that the funeral homes, like if they go out of business, they transfer those pre-need services to another funeral home.
We went to the new funeral home. The owner did not want to do an on-camera interview, but told me he went beyond what was left in Willa's policy, paying the cemetery $800 of his own money. Kiplinger's Personal Finance says prepaid funerals can be a smart idea, but it says make sure the money goes to a trust or insurance company, not a funeral home that could go out of business. Get a plan that keeps up with inflation and make sure it covers an upgraded casket, not a bare bones model.
And it made me feel like maybe this has happened to other people. They may not even know it.
Finally, make sure everything's covered, including cemetery fees. You don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now on Good Morning Indiana, on this Friday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. Police in Lafayette are trying to learn more about what led to a man's death. The man was found lying on the road around 10 o'clock last night near North 9th and Ferry Streets. That man later died at the hospital. Police say the man's death could be traffic related.
A man is dead following a crash on the city's west side. A Firefighters on the scene tell RTV6 a man in his 30s was driving northbound on I-465 near Sam Jones Expressway when he crashed into the wall. The van traveled about an eighth of a mile before stopping. This morning, investigators are still trying to figure out what caused the van to crash.
The pictures from the Whiteland Fire Department tell the story better than words can. Wow, a semi-truck catching fire Thursday afternoon on the southbound ramp from Whiteland Road to I-65 in Johnson County. It took firefighters about an hour to extinguish those flames. There were no reports of injuries and no word yet on what caused that fire.
As of now, there will be football in the Big Ten this year, but the Purdue Boilermakers will not have one of their best players. Wide receiver Rondale Moore says he will opt out of the season. He says given the COVID-19 pandemic, the best choice for him and his family is for him to prepare for next year's NFL draft. Moore was a freshman All-American 2 years ago, but he played in only 4 games last season because of injuries.
The Phoenix Suns handed the Pacers their first loss since the NBA's restart. Phoenix went on a 23-0 run between late in the third quarter and early in the fourth quarter, and they held on to win 114-99 down at the NBA bubble in Orlando. The Pacers' next take on the top 10 team is in the West, the Lakers. That's set for this Saturday. But first, here at 6:30, I want to thank you for joining our team on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey. Raphael, good morning to you down in Johnson County.
Lauren, good morning to you. Since we're back to school, the letter for the day is the letter A for August, A for A+ for the weather week, and A for Alyssa Donovan, who's done an amazing job this week. So, Alyssa, A's all around.
I saw where you were going with that. I like that one. Yeah, and this forecast is definitely A+. And check out this sunrise over Indianapolis right now from our Weather Now cam. Beautiful cotton candy skies to start our day. You can see lots of clear skies to start our morning across central Indiana. Temperatures a little bit cool for areas to the north, but most of us close to average. 61 degrees here in Indianapolis, Lafayette at 56, Muncie at 56, and Bloomington at 55. So most of us don't need that light jacket to start the day, but maybe if you're to the north, you might want to grab it. Clear skies right now. High pressure is in control. It's going to stay that way today and into the first part of tomorrow. But then you can see just to the southwest of us, we do have that system starting to develop. That's going to start to track into the region tomorrow afternoon. It will start by just bringing us some humid conditions for our Saturday. And then that humidity is really going to rise on Sunday. And we're going to see that convection take place, which means the potential for showers and storms, unsettled weather to start next week as well. Today, though, a nice day on tap. Mild start, quickly warming into the mid-70s by the noon hour. Plenty of sunshine throughout your Friday, 82 degrees for the high.
Alyssa, thank you. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out the door to start your Friday. This is a look on the west side at I-465, a view here near Rockville Road, where traffic on the interstate and Rockville Road is traveling up to speed in all directions. So it's great news if you're waking up and heading to work this morning. No major issues to slow you down. Raphael?
Lauren, this morning we continue to follow a breaking and developing story. Right now, Metro Police investigating a deadly shooting that happened early this morning on the city's east side. Officers were called to North Bradley Avenue, about a block east of North Sherman Drive. When they arrived, they found a man suffering from a gunshot wound. He was taken to Eskenazi Hospital and we're told he died there. So far, there's no word on what may have led up to that shooting. If you have any information on this developing story, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers right now. That number is 317-262-TIPS.
The Impd officers involved in the deadly shooting of Mikhail Rose have returned to full-duty status. The 19-year-old was killed in what police say was an exchange of gunfire with officers while responding to a burglary call. That incident happening back on May 7th, just hours after Drejon Reed was shot and killed by another officer. Investigators are waiting for a decision from the Marion County Prosecutor's Office before turning this case over to IMPD's Firearms Review Board. IMPD Chief Randall Taylor says that Rose may have been planning to ambush those officers who were responding to the burglary call. At 6:33, thousands of families are facing a critical deadline. Unless something changes, the governor's moratorium on evictions and utility disconnections due to the pandemic ends 1 week from today, Raphael.
And Lauren, with so many Hoosiers, as you know, still out of work and a number of businesses still unable to pay their rent because they're struggling with their finances, some people are just simply wondering, how will they make this work? Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with more on what's next for all of these families and business owners. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. So starting next Friday, August 14th, landlords can start the paperwork for the eviction process, which is worrisome for business owners who rent their workspace. They say they're not sure that they can survive this moratorium ending. We spoke to Morgan Roddy. She owns the Queer Chocolatier in Muncie and hasn't been able to open because she fears someone could get sick. Now that the moratorium is ending, she's afraid this could be detrimental to her business. Governor Holcomb announced Wednesday a $15 million increase to the state's rental assistance program, a program that at last check had more than 24,000 people apply. We told Rhodey about these state efforts, and she says she knows some people will benefit, but is worried the vast majority of folks will have a hard time navigating the system.
That is being, kind of wallpapered as, oh, we're letting this extension go away, but here's what we're going to offer instead. It's not a choice. There's no option.
So right now, while her store is not open, she says she's hoping to accept online orders once it's cool enough to ship chocolate through the mail. But says she has to stick it out for these next few weeks without any guarantee that her business will survive. Now, again, that expiration date is Friday, August 14th. That is when landlords can start the paperwork for the eviction process. For everything you need to know about the rental assistance program, head to theindychannel.com. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. Let's turn now to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic. On Thursday, Indiana set a new record for the number of cases reported in one day. The state health officials reported 1,051 new COVID-19 cases. Since the pandemic began, more than 71,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. On Thursday, health officials also reported 6 new deaths from COVID-19, meaning that since the pandemic began, more than 2,800 Hoosiers have died from COVID-19. Let's take a look now at the impact this virus is having on our state's hospitals. This morning, nearly 54% of the state's ICU beds are being used by non-COVID patients. COVID patients are using 14% of those beds. At this hour, nearly 33% of ICU beds remain available, and this morning, nearly 82% of the state's ventilators are still available.
Let me take you east of Indianapolis. At least 10 high school students in Wayne County are now under quarantine because of COVID-19. It follows a staff member at Northeastern High School testing positive for coronavirus. In a statement, the Wayne County Health Department tells RTV6 it's been in close contact with the school to notify any staff member or student who's had close contact with a COVID-19 infected person.
Well, the FDA is loosening the requirements for surgical masks, citing shortages. Nurses unions, governors, and other groups say they're struggling to get personal protective equipment for those frontline healthcare workers. The White House says that the PPE supplies are adequate, but the FDA indicates otherwise. The agency issuing emergency authorization for certain disposable single-use surgical masks in healthcare settings. The FDA warns that the loosened guidelines don't replace the need for the FDA-cleared surgical masks and authorized respirators.
Lauren, there is no masking this big problem. The recovery from COVID-19 is extremely slow for the restaurant industry. Next, we'll show you how one restaurant owner is really trying to stay afloat when limits on her business are mandated by the state. That story and much more coming up right here on Good Morning, Indiana. Lauren and I welcome you back to Good Morning Indiana on this Friday, and restaurants are open again across our area, but in most cases, Lauren, they're restricted to 75% capacity or less.
And so as a result, Raphael, many of those restaurants, they're just struggling to even stay in business. Our Nicole Griffin spoke to the owner of a restaurant up in Noblesville where it's not business as usual.
Courtney's Kitchen here in Noblesville is now back open for dine-in services, and they have been for about 9 weeks now. I talked to the co-owner here about some of the challenges that they are still facing during the pandemic.
We understand we don't have a drive-through, so sometimes that carry-out option isn't thought about immediately, I think.
10 years ago, Carrie Courtney started Courtney's Kitchen with her brother Cass. She says it was always his dream to start a restaurant. Carrie says 2020 has been the most difficult year so far.
We're hanging in there. The 75% capacity on some shifts, we reach that, and those are good shifts. But most of the time, we're not in a hurry to move to 100% capacity yet because we just don't have enough customers that are comfortable doing that.
During the pandemic, the Courtney family is continuing to adapt to changes just to stay open. Curbside delivery and carryout is what helped push them through until now. But growing the business is still a daily challenge.
We don't stock like we used to. I'm running to the store a lot more often, but we're trying to just take it more day by day so that if something does change in the coming future, we don't get hurt again.
Courtney says events getting canceled in Noblesville is also hurting business, but the restaurant's biggest fundraiser of the year, the Strut to Save Lives, is rescheduled for September. She hopes the event that is put on by the Indiana Donor Network and race car driver Brian Clausen's family has a good turnout, so this small local staple can keep its doors open and continue serving the community. Working for you in Noblesville, Nicole Griffin, RTV 6.
Strut to Save Lives is scheduled for September 20th. It's at 11 a.m. at Dillon Park in Noblesville. It's a day to join members of the community and their pups to honor Brian Clausen and to help save lives by encouraging organ and tissue donation.
Paying tribute to the legacy of the priest in the pits. Next on Good Morning Indiana, how the community is giving hope to some special people, as well as honoring a man who became a Speedway legend. On this Friday, we check in one more time with our very own Alyssa Donovan with a great Friday forecast.
That's right. We're going to see those temperatures into the low 80s today. Plenty of sunshine. Looking at the weekend, sunny on Saturday, more humid air filtering in as well. Chances of storms on Sunday. I'll have more details coming up in that full forecast. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. The time right now is 6:45 here on our Friday. We're keeping a close eye on traffic for your commute. This is I-69 near County Road 600 North. Traffic is moving along up to speed all around the metro area this morning. We're not monitoring any major delays to slow you down, so that's great news if you're heading out to work this morning. Raphael.
So Lauren, he was known by race fans and by many as the priest in the pits. But Father Glenn O'Connor's legacy is how he loved to help people who were struggling in our community.
Yeah, so now his legacy will live on in a new home bearing his name on the city's west side. Ground was broken on the Father Glenn O'Connor home next to the Seeds of Hope and near St. Joseph Catholic Church. Father Glenn led the effort to open Seeds of Hope back in 1999 when he was the pastor at St. Joseph's. Seeds of Hope is a transitional home for women struggling with drug and alcohol addiction.
There is no other name that would fit this home. We're going to build a 3-quarter house, and this house is where the ladies will live until they get a better footing, better equipped to be in the outside world.
This home will have 22 apartments and should be ready for its first occupants next summer. Here at 6:46, let's check in with Alyssa and see what we can expect for our Friday forecast.
And it's going to be a great Friday. You can see from our Weather Now camera, clear skies across the area, just starting to see that sunrise, giving us a little pink tinge to the sky this morning. We are seeing a little bit of haze in some areas, especially to the southwest, where we're developing just a smidge of patchy fog this morning. But most of us are just going to start with that sunny, clear sky today, and that's what we're going to see throughout most of our Friday. Warming up today, a little bit warmer than what we saw the past couple days. We've just been inching closer to those 80-degree marks. And yesterday we were in the upper 70s, the day before as well. Today we're back into the low 80s, so it's going to feel a lot more like August once again. And then it's really going to feel like August tomorrow. We have humid air returning to the forecast Saturday and Sunday, also kicking off the potential for storms, which is going to stick with us to start next week. So today, starting with our temperatures in the 50s and low 60s this morning, 61 degrees in Indianapolis. That humidity is still low, still very comfortable outside. Winds are fairly light out of the north, about 7 miles per hour. So we're still filtering some of that cooler Canadian air. Those winds are going to start shifting as we head into tomorrow out of the south, which what that will do is help pull some of that moisture and warmer air in from that southerly flow. So we'll notice that change tomorrow more so than we'll notice it today. Want to show you just some of the visibility issues I was talking about when it comes to that patchy fog development because of that moisture we're pulling up from the Gulf. We're down to just about 1.75 miles in Terre Haute, 3 miles of visibility down in Bloomington. Some of those areas that we typically see that patchy fog develop, that's where we're seeing that this morning. So just be aware of that. If that's part of your morning commute, give yourself a little bit of extra time. High pressure in control today. That's going to help keep us sunny and clear and also very dry. that sunny sky is going to help us warm up very quickly. So we'll be right around 76 by the noon hour. So warming about 20 degrees in a very short period of time. And then by the afternoon, maybe a small chunk of clouds developing to the north, but most of us will continue to see just sunny skies today. Looking ahead, 82 for our high, for our daytime high, sunny skies, low humidity, and then this weekend, continuing that climb, will be 90 degrees by Sunday. Tomorrow, 85, more humid air in the forecast on Saturday, and then we're going to continue to see that warmth Monday and Tuesday. All of that warm and humid air is going to help us fuel that potential of thunderstorms. Earliest we could see those is late Saturday night. Chance of them on Sunday. Best chance to see them will be Monday and Tuesday.
Alyssa, thank you so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out on the roads this morning. This is our camera downtown I-70 at the North Split, where you can see traffic is moving along up to speed in all directions. We do have a stalled vehicle there, but it is off the travel lanes and off the shoulder, so that is great news. And taking a look around the metro area this morning, I'm not monitoring any major crashes or delays, so it should be a pretty smooth and easy Friday commute at this hour for your Friday. You can see the sun is rising as well over the Circle City, so have a safe drive into work.
Lauren, there's a stunning new report about pregnancy and alcohol coming up later this morning on Good Morning America right here on RTV6. The number of women who are drinking while they're expecting and what that could mean for their babies.
And Good News Friday is coming up next. With school back in session, we'll show you how you can help fulfill the wishes of some very important people. It's 6:50. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. The time right now is 6:53 on our Friday, and here's a shot of the downtown area and Lucas Oil Stadium, where if you look closely, you can see the window there is open. I think we're all hoping to maybe see some football played there this fall. Of course, we'll keep you updated. Airing things out a little bit, though, due possibly to the pandemic. We're not sure exactly why the windows are open, but a beautiful shot there of the field. All right, let's wrap up the work week with some good news on this Friday morning. Raphael, we want to take it down to Johnson County there with an artist. Yeah, come on down with an artist. She's a former classmate of mine from Franklin College, and her work is going to be on display on a really big canvas now.
So can I say go Grizzlies?
Yeah.
I'll say go Grizzlies.
Always.
And Lauren, this is a project where the community can really come out tomorrow and help make it shine. A brush of success, you would say. You see, artist Stacy Drain, she designed a mural that was projected and then traced this week onto the wall of the Taxman Brewery in downtown Bargersville. Tomorrow, the Johnson County Community Foundation is hosting a community paint event. It's where the public will be able to come out and, in a socially distant way, put some color into this mural. Now, they did this last year outside of Richard's restaurant here in Franklin. This painting in Bargersville will be done as well in a color by numbers fashion, so everyone that can should come down and do it. The weather should be fantastic, Lauren.
I know they have activities for the little kids, and they say don't forget to bring your mask. So Hancock County resident Kaylee Cooper has started a Facebook group called Support Our Hancock County Teachers. Nearly 2,000 people are in this group. It's a place where teachers can post their Amazon wish lists with the things they need to have a successful school year. Cooper tells us the group has been really successful, and it's good to see a little bit of good in the world right now.
People are saying that their whole entire wish list has been provided for them. And we're also seeing just a lot of really cool stories that are kind of past students, parents, or even past students coming on and saying, you know, what a difference in their lives their teacher made.
Again, that Facebook page is called Support Our Hancock County Teachers. Cooper tells us she's also seen similar groups for other counties.
And Lauren, this week, the Madden Walker Legacy Center celebrated girl dads while honoring their namesake, the beauty products icon, Madam C.J. Walker. They held a Daddy Do Day contest. It was a live competition held on Facebook where they found out which dad was the best, now this is hard, at doing their daughter's hair. That always scared me with my daughter's hair. The competition was close and intense, but the winner was Lorenzo and Mikhail. Check out their do. All right. The Madden Walker Legacy Center presented them with a check for $750, a prize package, which highlighted the important role that fathers play in the lives of their kids. And let me just add that I'm a girl dad, hashtag dads matter, and on behalf of Mr. Casey and Mr. Donovan. I'm sure they're proud of their daughters, and I can only hope that my daughter will one day be as talented as my co-workers are here on Good Morning Indiana. But of course, congratulations to all those dads who did that this week. That's tough business.
Oh my goodness.
I gotta tell you, I'm always scared. I was always scared when my wife would say, you have to do Sierra's hair.
You're like,
what?
Ooh, and Sierra's probably even more scared, I would guess. Like, no, Dad, please. Oh my goodness.
No, don't do it.
Yeah. I'll just wear it down today. Oh my goodness. Well, Alyssa, people may want to put the hair up today because it is warming up across central Indiana.
And I gotta say, Ralph, my dad is gonna absolutely love that very brief shout out to him.
Yeah.
He's just gonna eat
He's a
it
good
up.
guy.
Yeah.
And so is Mr. Casey.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, my dad's amazing. We have an amazing forecast as well. Temperatures today climbing into the low 80s, warming up a little bit more than what we saw yesterday. 82 for the high, more humid on Saturday, and then we do have chances of storms rolling in Sunday and to kick off next work week.
All right, we are back in 25 minutes and all throughout Good Morning America with your news, weather, and traffic updates. Have a great Friday and a great weekend.